Here's another quadratic equation, problem 16 from your review sheet. We can solve this one again using the formula. That would be my choice since all three terms are present. Squared term, first power term, constant term. Remember we've said if all three terms of the quadratic equation are present, we are going to use the formula. So we'll start that x equals the opposite of b. Well, the b coefficient here is -1, isn't it? The opposite of -1 is 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So the square of -1 is 1, minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is 2, all of that divided by 2 times a. So x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 minus 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 is 24. All of that divided by 6. So x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of -23. All of that divided by 6. 23 doesn't have any perfect square numbers as a factor, so the only thing I can do is write this using the imaginary unit I. Square root of -23 would be written as the square root of 23 times I. Remember, the I represents the square root of -1. And now, since these are complex number solutions, with complex number solutions, I always separate into the two distinct fractions, not writing it as one giant fraction. The reason we do this with complex numbers is so we identify the two parts, the real number part and the imaginary number part, which always comprise complex numbers. There's always a real number part and an imaginary number part. So we want to write it so that those are distinctly shown when we write the solutions. That's why we always separate it into the two separate fractions rather than leaving it as one big fraction.